Hello traders, and welcome to a new market analysis and price prediction update of the three major coins that I will be doing today. So we're going to be looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, and I'm going to be using Fibonacci's, technical analysis. I'm also going to be using sentiment analysis, which for the uninitiated is a way of looking at what long and short positions are doing within the market. And then we're also going to be looking at the pivot reversal strategy, which is a newer strategy that I covered that is offered by TradingView. All right, so let's begin with Bitcoin, with our three-way analysis. So what I see here is two major things that pop out to me with a technical analysis. I see a Fibonacci for the 61.8 being perfectly hit, and then a rebound. Typically, that means a continuation in price. So I would expect price to continue this trend. Possibly could go even higher than the all-time high, but this could also form into a head and shoulders formation. And for those who don't know, that would look like this, where price goes up to 61.8 of this downward move, and that would absolutely make sense as well. And I think that we will probably see some retracement after price goes up to around 61.8 of the down move. And for those who want to know what that looks like, beautiful. That 61.8 is 16,380 on Bitfinex. So we can expect price to have some resistance here and some consolidation. That can also look like a head and shoulders formation. And if it does, then price will likely continue moving downward. All right. So for the short term, I'd say bullish. For the long term, I'd say bearish if we see a lot of resistance at this level here. All right. So now let's look at sentiment. We can see, I know, if you haven't seen sentiment before, it looks like a lot of clutter. Green and red, this green line, long sentiment. Red line is our bear sentiment or short sentiment. And what I see here is a rapid fall off in both long positions and short positions. What this tells me is that many traders are exiting the market. Even if they were short or long, they are putting their money out of Bitcoin and into other assets or just into USD. And typically that means a reversal, because that means that open interest for the trend is declining. And as you can see here, the trend is downward. So that gives, I think, even more probability that price is probably in the short term going to move a bit higher. All right, and finally, let's look at the pivot reversal strategy and see what it indicates on a little bit of a shorter time frame. So on the hourly, we can see that Bitcoin is still registered as a sell. As you can see right here, we have the pivot point reversal indicator is telling me that we are still in a bearish market. That could change with, this could turn into a blue arrow soon, or it might not. But I still think that in the short term, based on sentiment, the Fibonacci is being hit, and the volume spike right here that you see, this volume spike right here, typically you see that at a support level that's respected where price moves up. So short-term bullish. All right, let's move on to Ethereum. Rapid fire. Okay, so Ethereum also hit a 61.8 retracement. It had a tail down to the 78.6. This makes sense though, because this was previous resistance that would likely become future support for price levels. And we might have had some positions that were here, which would stop price from moving any lower. And that's probably why we had a tail down to this previous resistance area. And what I see here. So very strong rapid movement, downward movement for Ethereum, and not as much as of a volume spike. But if Bitcoin's going up, typically the altcoins tend to follow. So especially the majors. So I would expect more often than not that Ethereum, if Bitcoin rises, Ethereum would likely rise as well. And also 61.8 being hit, I think that we're going to see at least some bullish movement. Maybe that bullish movement stops at this level here, at the Fibonacci at 720. Maybe it just continues and breaks the all-time high, but still in the short term, I would be bullish on this pair. Let's take a look at sentiment very quickly. Sentiment looks really good for Ethereum. You can see a lot of longs are dropping out of the market, and shorts aren't really doing anything. What this tells me is that a lot of the buyers who were in this market before are now selling. And that might sound like a bad thing for price to go up, but it's actually a good thing, because that tells us that many retail traders are jumping out of this market. meaning that there's a lot of opportunity for price to go up because we want to buy when sentiment drops for longs, because that's telling us that attractive prices are coming and that institutions could potentially be buying this as well. So with falling long sentiment, I would say that this looks quite bullish. Let's look at PRS. So PRS still labels this as a sell on the, let me go on the 1 hour. Yeah, we still have this labeled as a sell, as you can see, with that downward arrow. So right now, it's telling us not to buy, but I think if price goes a bit higher, it'll probably be labeled as a buy. And yeah, and then price should find some resistance at 720 because of that 61.8 retracement. But short term, I'm bullish on Ethereum. All right, let's go to Litecoin. So Litecoin, we have a very similar situation to what happened to Ethereum. We had that 61.8% retracement get hit, but price made a tail down to the 78.6, drawn from here, of course. Reason that happened, of course, just makes sense. This is a previous resistance area that was resistant for some time. So if price goes down, typically previous resistance is going to become future support. That's what we saw here, with this becoming a support level. We had a bit of a volume spike with this as well. And now price seems to be moving upward. Let's talk about the sentiment. So sentiment here looks beautiful. We have a lot of buyers not in this market. What that means sentiment-wise, with not many buyers with Litecoin, means that there's a lot of potential for more buyers to come in, i.e. for price to go up. So this right here would be an opportunity to buy, to be one of the first buyers of an uptrend, which is always what we want to do as traders. We want to buy before everyone else buys, and we want to sell before everyone else sells. So yeah, this looks very bullish, and it's already, you can see it's already kind of climbing up already. For points of obvious resistance, we plot that. I would say that the 300 level for that 61.8 retracement might have some. This might as well, because this could become previous support, becoming future resistance as price moves here. But yeah, I would see some resistance in this area, but I could also see this just making new highs. So Litecoin looks relatively bullish. I'd say even with the strange news that came out about the Litecoin CEO who actually dumped all of his Litecoin holdings, which was pretty bad news for the pair, I still would remain bullish on this based on just how much the sentiment has just dropping off a cliff. So, and now, yeah, let's go on the 1 hour to look at if this would be labeled a buy or a sell by the pivot reversal strategy. So this would actually be labeled as a buy. So sentiment indicates a buy for Ethereum, for Litecoin, pardon me. And then also the momentum indicator we have here is indicating you want to buy this now. Indicated that right here. So yeah, I would say of the three, Litecoin likely looks the most bullish. We might see some resistance here because this was a previous support area though, and price could just retrace and then move upward. But yeah, so we have gone over all three pairs. We've gone over Ethereum, we've gone over Litecoin, we've gone over Bitcoin, rapid fire, just some technical analysis with Fibonacci's and sentiment analysis, plus some historical volume. And then finally, just looking at the pivot reversal momentum strategy. That really indicates, are we in a bearish market or are we in a bullish market based on different time frames. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Like I said before, I think that we should be short-term bullish on the three majors for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, especially Litecoin, even though Bitcoin might form a head and shoulders here, as you can see, and then move downward. But of course, as always, time will tell, and yeah, we'll see if we see that short-term bullishness until we get to that 61.8 retracement. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this video. If you have any questions, concerns, or want to reach out to me, then leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.